Forward. I delivered a Dhamma talk on Metta Meditation on a meditation retreat in New Zealand in November 1992. The talk is now transcribed by meditators and printed in a book form after it has been edited. The book is published in commemoration of the second ceremony of Akariya Puja in honor of the Most Venerable Chanmai Sayadaw on January 17, 18, 19, 2015. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samasambadhasa. Metta means a mental state wishing for the welfare of all living beings, Hitakarapavatalakkhana Metta. The meaning is that Metta has the characteristic of wishing the welfare of all living beings. The mental state that wishes all living beings to be happy and peaceful is Metta. When you develop the spirit of loving kindness or Metta towards all living beings, that is called Metta Bhavana or Metta Meditation. Metta and Tanha. In the Burmese language the word Metta is used in two senses. One is the sense of loving kindness, the other is the sense of sensual love. When a man is in love with a lady it is said that he loves her, he has Metta for her. In this case Metta is no just in the sense of loving kindness wishing the welfare of that lady. It is used in the sense of sensual love or desire. The sensual love or desire is Tanha, not Metta, loving kindness. When we deliver a discourse on Metta Bhavana, we have to clarify it, repeatedly distinguishing between the two senses of Metta and Tanha. Metta has the characteristic of wishing the welfare of beings without attachment, while Tanha has the characteristic of clinging to the object. Metta is cool while Tanha is hot. Metta makes the mind pure, calm, cool and concentrated while Tanha makes the mind defiled, distracted and hot. Some people say that you should radiate your Metta towards all living beings. Unless you develop Metta in yourself, how can you radiate it to other living beings? If you have developed the spirit of Metta abundantly in yourself, you need not intentionally radiate it to other beings. Your mind is naturally radiating Metta to them all. When you wish the welfare of other beings you have Metta in yourself. When Metta is well developed in yourself, your face looks calm, serene, pleasant, happy and peaceful. Sometimes your face looks smiling. Anyone who meets you and sees your face, feels happy and peaceful by the power of your Metta. He has the feeling of Metta for you. These are some benefits of Metta Bhavana, Metta Meditation. More benefits of Metta Meditation are mentioned in Buddhist scriptures. Lord Buddha explained 11 benefits of Metta in his teaching. 11 benefits of Metta. In the Anguttara Nikaya, the omniscient Buddha explains 11 benefits of Metta as follows. 1. The Metta meditator sleeps well. 2. He wakes up happily, feeling refreshed. 3. He has good dreams. 4. He is dear to human beings. 5. He is dear to other beings such as devas. 6. He is protected by devas. 7. He is not harmed by weapons, poison and fire. 8. His mind is easily concentrated. 9. His facial expression is calm, clear, serene and peaceful. 10. At the time of death, he passes away peacefully without confusion. 11. When he has passed away, he is reborn among Brahmas. A young monk. In the Visuddhimagga commentary, we find the story of a young monk who practiced Metta meditation. In ancient times in Sri Lanka, a young monk named Viska practiced both Metta Bhavana and Vipassana Bhavan. He stayed at a place for 4 months, not remaining longer at one place. In this way, he moved from one place to another. At one time, he stayed in Sitalapabhata Vihara. He intensively practiced Metta meditation there. After he had stayed there for 4 months, he was about to leave Sitalapabhata and go to another place. On the last night, he practiced Metta meditation while walking. At that time, he heard someone crying nearby. He looked for the person who was crying but did not see anyone. So he asked, "Who is crying?" Then he heard, "Venerable Sir, I am the deity who lives in this tree." Then asked, "Why are you crying?" The deity answered, "Venerable Sir, you are going to leave this place tomorrow, so I am crying. Then Visca said, my leaving this place has nothing to do with your crying. The deity said, Venerable Sir, before you came and stayed here, some devas in this forest were quarreling and fighting one another. We had to stay always unhappily. There was no unity and no peace at all. When you came and stayed here, all devas here were no longer quarreling nor fighting. All devas loved one another. We live very happily because of your Metta. Now you are going to leave here. Devas will quarrel and fight again. Then we will have no peace and happiness again. So, Venerable Sir, I request you not to leave from here. Venerable Visaka, an intensive Metta meditator, considering the welfare of all devas there, decided not to leave Siddhalapabhata and stayed on there. So, the devas loved one another and lived in peace and happiness all the time. This story of a young monk is described in the Visuddhimagga to demonstrate some benefits of Metta meditation. Metta meditation. When you wish to practice Metta meditation, you have to take any person or any beings as the object of meditation because you wish to develop Metta to some persons or beings, wishing him peace and happiness. For example, you wish to practice Metta meditation for your mother. You must focus your mind towards your mother and reflect on her peace and happiness, thinking about her good character, good deed and good speech, and say mentally, may my mother be well, happy and free from suffering. These Metta sentences must be recited repeatedly. They arouse the feeling of your Metta for your mother. However, the sentences should be 2 or 3, not more than that. They also should not be long, but should be short. If the sentences are many or long, the mind sticks to them. Then the feeling of Metta does not arise. So meditators should be careful not to use many and long sentences. No need to see image. Some people have the idea that in Metta meditation a meditator needs to see the image of the person who is the object of meditation. This is just their idea. The Visuddhimagga does not instruct to see the image of the object. Therefore, you should not try to visualize the image of the object. It is impossible to see all images of all living beings when we develop Metta to all living beings. So meditators, without trying to see the image of object, should focus their mind towards all living beings and mentally say Metta sentences, Mile Bings be well, happy and free from suffering. He may use other short sentences that enable him to arouse the feeling of Metta. In this way he will be able to develop Metta. Automatic appearance of the image. But sometimes the image may appear automatically or naturally in your mind without your effort to visualize it, it's good. Later the image may disappear, it doesn't matter. What does matter is to feel loving kindness in yourself, recollecting all the virtues of the object, wishing him peace and happiness. Specific Metta meditation. When you practice specific Metta meditation, you should focus your mind towards a person whom you have chosen as the object of the meditation. Then you should reflect on his welfare and mentally say, may this person be well, happy and free from suffering, recollecting his good character, good deeds, good speech, etc. In this way Metta sentences gradually arouse the feeling of Metta in yourself, which later will be well developed. Unspecific Metta meditation. As to unspecific Metta meditation, you are not to specify any person or group for the object of the meditation, but you develop your Metta towards all living beings, mentally saying, may all beings be well, happy and free from suffering. Repeatedly, you can use such sentences as these, may all beings be happy, free from animosity, distress and affliction. Points to note about specific Metta. The Visuddhimagga mentions 4 kinds of person, who should not be the first object of Metta meditation in the initial stage of the practice. 1. An antipathetic person should not be the first object of Metta meditation in the beginning of the practice. If you put the antipathetic person into place of the beloved, you find it difficult to feel Metta and get tired. 2. A dearly beloved person should not be the first object of Metta meditation in the initial stage of the practice, because developing loving kindness towards him or her, sometimes you may think about his or her misfortune or suffering. Then you will be unhappy about it and unable to feel loving kindness for him or her. 3. A neutral person should not be the first object of metta meditation. A neutral person is the one whom you do not love nor hate. He is just your acquaintance. If you put a neutral person in the place of the beloved, it is difficult for you to feel metta for him. 4. A hostile person also should not be the first object of metta meditation, because when you reflect on his welfare, you may have anger arising in your mind instead of metta. The above-mentioned 4 persons should not be the first object of metta meditation in the initial stage of the practice. When you are skillful in metta meditation, you can develop metta towards them. A man fighting against the wall. There is one person who should not be the object of specific metta meditation. The opposite sex should not be the object of the specific metta meditation, because the meditator may feel lust instead of metta. In the Visuddhimagga, an interesting story is mentioned. In Sri Lanka, a man very much wished to practice metta meditation. He asked a monk, who came to his house every day for alms round, how to practice metta meditation. The monk told him to cultivate metta towards his most loved one. At night, the man comfortably sat for meditation in his room and thought about object of meditation who he loved most. It came to his mind that his wife was best loved by him. So he cultivated metta towards his wife who slept in the other room. When he developed metta for some minutes, he had lust arising in his mind, and so he got up and tried to go to his wife's room, fighting against the wall of his room which was bolted, but he forgot it. In consideration of this story, the opposite sex should not be the object of the specific metta meditation, but he or she can be the object of unspecific metta meditation. When you are skilled in metta meditation, you can develop metta towards the opposite sex. A lady meditator's experience. One lady, who was a superintendent at a bank, came to practice vipassana meditation for 2 months. She got a 3 months leave. After 2 months of vipassana meditation, she practiced metta meditation. After she had practiced metta meditation for about 2 weeks, her concentration was very good. She felt happy, calm and composed. Her mind became clear, serene, pliable and malleable. I, therefore, instructed her to develop metta towards a hostile person. Then, she remembered her senior officer, who was always finding fault with her. She did not like him. So I told her to develop metta towards her senior officer. She tried to feel metta for him by practicing metta meditation. The next day in the interview, she said she was successful in developing metta towards her hostile person. After 1 month's metta meditation, she went back home. After 1 week, she came and told me about her success. When she went back home, her brother told her that her senior officer visited her house and asked her brother about her health and her meditation, which he had never been done before. When she went to the office, his attitude has changed and he did not find fault with her. So she judged that this is the benefit of metta meditation, that she had practiced for 1 month. So we can say that when a meditator is skilled in metta meditation, he successfully develops metta towards a hostile person. About a dead person. A dead person should not be the object of the specific metta meditation. The Visuddhimagga says that if you develop loving kindness towards a dead person, you cannot attain either access or absorption concentration. It mentions a story of a young monk who developed metta towards his preceptor living in a distant monastery. The young monk could not attain any concentration in his meditation. So, he went to a senior monk, who was an arahat living near his monastery, and asked him why he did not attain any concentration in his meditation, though he was skillful in metta meditation. The senior monk told him to seek the object. So the young monk went to the monastery where his preceptor lived. Then he found that the preceptor had passed away. He came to know that is the reason why he did not attain any concentration. Then he took another person as the object of metta meditation. He easily attained absorption concentration. Jhana. Who is the first object? Then we should know who should be the first object of metta meditation in the beginning. The Visuddhimagga says as follows. First of all, it should be developed only towards oneself, saying repeatedly thus, may I be happy and free from suffering, or may I keep myself free from enmity, affliction and anxiety, and live happily. So he should first, as example, pervade himself with loving kindness. Next, after that, in order to proceed easily, he can recollect such gifts, kind words, etc., as inspire love and endearment, such virtue, learning, etc., as inspire respect and reverence met within a teacher, or his equivalent, or a preceptor, or his equivalent, developing loving kindness towards him in the way beginning, may this good man be happy and free from suffering. With such person, of course, he attains absorption. Breaking of the barriers. But if this bhikkhu does not rest content with just that much and wants to break down the barriers, he should next, after that, develop loving kindness towards a very dearly loved friend, then towards a neutral person as a dearly loved friend, then towards a hostile person as neutral. And while he does so, he should make his mind malleable and wieldy in each instance before passing on to the next. Then, he should break down the barriers by practicing loving kindness over and over again, accomplishing mental impartiality towards the four persons, that is to say, himself, the dear person, the neutral person, and then the hostile person. Their characteristic of this. Suppose this person is sitting in a place with a dear, a neutral, and a hostile person, himself being the fourth, then bandits come to him and say, Venerable Sir, give us a bhikkhu, and on being asked why, they answer so that we may kill him and use the blood of his throat as an offering. Then if that bhikkhu thinks, let them take this one, or this one, he has not broken down the barriers. And also if he thinks, let them take me but not these three, he has not broken down the barriers either. Why? Because he seeks the harm of him whom he wishes to be taken, and seeks the welfare of the others only. But it is when he does not see asingly any monk for people to beg event of bandits, and he directs his mind impartially towards himself, and towards those three people, that he has broken down the barriers. Free development of Metta Meditation. The Visuddhimagga, in the above paragraph, explains how to break the barrier, Simasambhida, but any meditator can practice Metta Meditation just to have the feeling of loving kindness in himself without breaking of barrier. He need not follow the order of development mentioned in the Visuddhimagga. So, first of all, he develops Metta towards himself. After he has some feeling of Metta in himself, he should develop Metta towards his teacher, preceptor or any equivalent person, which is endowed with Sila, Samadhi and Panna. After that he can develop Metta towards any person he has chosen for meditation. In this way he can cultivate Metta towards one person after another, or all beings in the universe. May all beings develop Metta and be happy, peaceful and free from all kinds of suffering. About the author. The Venerable Chanmai Sayadaw U Janakabhavamsa, born the 24th of July, 1928, is a Theravada Buddhist monk from Myanmar. He was born in Pyenma village, Tongdwingi Township, British Burma, on Tuesday, the 24th of July, 1928. His parents were U Phu Minit and Daw Shui Yi. He started to study the Buddhist scriptures at the age of 15 as a novice monk. He received the higher Upasampada ordination in 1947 and continued advanced studies of Buddhist scriptures. He practiced Vipassana meditation under the instruction of the Most Venerable Mahasi Sayadaw from 1953 to 1954. He was then invited by the State Buddha Sasana organization to be an editor of the Buddhist scriptures in Pali for reciting Buddhist scriptures at the 6th Buddhist Council in Myanmar. Starting from 1957, the Venerable Sayadaw spent 6 years in Colombo, Sri Lanka, where he continued his studies of English, Sanskrit, Hindi and Sinhalese languages. He returned to Myanmar in June 1963. At the invitation of the State Buddha Sasana organization, he took up residence at Kobo, where he edited the publications of Pali texts. In 1967, he was appointed by the Venerable Mahasi Sayadaw as a meditation teacher at Mahasi Sasana Yaktha, Yangon. In 1977 Sayadaw Ashing Janakabhavamsa took up residence at Chiang Mai Metta Meditation Center, which was donated to him by some devotees, and became the abbot of the center. He has been since then well known as Chiang Mai Sayadaw. In 1979-1980 Chiang Mai Sayadaw accompanied the Most Venerable Mahasi Sayadaw's Dhamma mission to Europe and the USA. He has undertaken many Dhamma missions to countries in Asia, Europe, and the United States. As recently as July 2015, at the age of 87, he traveled to the UK, Ireland, and Canada giving Dhamma talks.